Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Voice of Crypto's podcast, where we get distinguished guests from the space to talk about all things crypto, blockchain, and Web 3.0. Today, we have with us Diego Di Tommaso, and he is the co-founder and COO of Over the Reality. They also have a token called OVR, and we're really happy to have you here today, Diego.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our audiences and tell them a little bit about what you're doing in this space currently?
Yes, of course. So my name is Diego Di Tommaso. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Over the Reality. The company was launched in 2018. Before we have a kind of very different background. I came from the fashion industry, then I was in consulting. And then in 2017, I basically fell into the rabbit hole of cryptos and started working on that. So yeah, actually the first time I heard about crypto was 2014 with a Bitcoin white paper. And then, 2017, I started mining Ethereum. And actually that's also I met my co-founder, Davide Cuttini, because I remember I was doing a presentation on the blockchain, and I had some mining rigs, and actually I sold my mining rigs to him.
Okay.
We started.
Yeah. So that is sort of how your journey looked like into this space. So how did you, when did you decide to transition from more Web 2 sort of a background to Web 3?
Well, yeah, I always said, this really big passion about technology and so on, and I really thought that, blockchain was gonna make a big impact in the world. And I remember in 2017, we was very inspired from what Decentraland did, because what they was launching back then, this idea of using NFTs for defining digital lands and so on. And so we thought about transposing this concept to augmented reality. And so the whole concept really was to take the know-how and skills that my co-founder Davide Cuttini developed in the last years doing B2B and use it to create a scalable B2C platform that is based on Web3. And so the idea is, the platform is the goal of the platform is to augment the physical world with augmented reality, so edit the physical world. And the way it's built basically is around three main base layers. So one, we have an ownership layer, then we have a mapping layer, then we have a builder layer. So starting from the first one, if you think about the web, in the web you have web domains, and if you own a web domain, you can publish a web page, and so publish in 2D. So we took these concepts and moved this. So our lands that are lands mapped one-to-one to the physical world that we call OVR lands, basically are spatial domain. So you own that coordinate, and so you have publishing rights on that location. For example, you own the hexagon of the Colosseum, so you can publish AR experiences over there. You can put a gladiator over there. You can reconstruct the building like it was before. You can have a tour guide. Whatever you can imagine to do in AR, you can do it in that way. And so these OVR lands, these spatial domains, are represented by NFTs. And up to date, we sold 860,000 of these digital lands to more than 30,000 unique owners. So we are the biggest owners community in the Metaverse, I would say. So once you have these publishing rights, then of course you can publish content over there. But if you want to publish content that is connected to a location, you have a technical problem. So the technical problem is that if you just use GPS to locate your space, the experience will not be precise. So outdoor, the precision of GPS is like around 6 meters. But indoor, for example, it doesn't work at all. So let's say that you want to augment a building and showcase what it was before. If the experience is not anchored to the building, the AR experience will not be compelling. It will be something strange, not really working. So, because and also if maybe you want to do some want to augment a shop window, you want to have an avatar inside a shop or whatever, you basically cannot do it with GPS right now. So because of that, we built a system that we call map to earn, so mapping layer, that allows to people to take pictures of the location. From these pictures, people can basically create a 3D map of the area. So from this 3D map, we finally can publish content very precisely. So we go down to 20 centimeters precision when we publish content. And there is another interesting thing about this, is that basically this data, this 3D structure of the world that people capture with their mobile phones, basically is owned by the creator. And the way it's owned by the creator is through an NFT. So basically you scan a location, you map a location, you generate this representation, this digital twin of the location, and you own that data. It's kind of, if you think about Google Maps, but crowdsourced and owned by its contributors. So that's the concept of map to earn. And finally, we have the last layer, that is the builder layer. So it's the tools that allow people to publish in this metaverse layer. And we have two kinds of tools. It's one for no coders. So we have a web interface that you can access from any browser, where you just drag and drop 3D files, 2D files, videos, or NFTs that you own, and those will be published in the real world. And this is still a powerful tool, but if you can code, so for example, if you can code in Unity, we have a Unity SDK. So in that case, you can also program interactions. You can go up to create even games inside this metaverse. So basically, we try to cover all of the different skills of the creators that are out there. And up to date, this has been very successful because we have 17,000 physical locations that have been edited by more than 3,000 creators. And that's it in terms of infrastructure. I should just add that also when you are over Metaverse, you're not just a passive spectator, but you're there with your own avatar. So we build photorealistic avatars from a single selfie of yourself. And so it's also a social platform. So you can meet, you can have your avatar speaking with other avatars. Also, we do the face tracking, so you can reproduce your face emotions directly in your avatar. And also you can personalize your avatar or your appearance. We have NFT wearables. So you can have wearables that can be traded and sold as NFTs.
Wow, sounds pretty amazing. Quite a bit that over the reality is in fact delving into at this point. And I do believe that the sector itself is growing at a pretty fast pace, but I'm sure that there are a lot of businesses that might be doing something or something on these lines as well. But what are a few things that set apart what you guys built from the other businesses in this space that might be sort of doing somewhat similar stuff?
Yeah, so I would say that in general, when we think about the metaverse, right now, when we think about the metaverse, we think about a VR version of the world. So a 3D, an occlusive experience. So, and so when we think about the metaverse right now, we think about something like Ready Player One, where you're in a total different world, totally occlusive world. So the first difference is that I think that in our case, we are more focused on augmented reality experience. So mixing the real world with AR. And the reason why we went down this path is that because we think that yes, VR, it's big and will be even bigger. But in the future, we will, and also right now, actually, we will not spend most of our lives with an occlusive headset on our head, but we will still keep living in the physical world. And what we will do, we will live in the physical world augmented with augmented reality. And this will be very apparent once smart glasses will be out there. And as you probably know, Apple is going to release his mixed reality device this year. The only AR device has been delayed a little bit, but there are a lot of companies also working on that direction. And so like we see Qualcomm that is building chipsets for this. There are companies like Mojo Lenses that are building the contact lenses for augmented reality. So there's like a consensus and a big
big
companies that are doing research in that area. Yeah, so that's I would say our main focus. And again, coming back to your question about other companies that are doing something similar, I also would like to stress out that in Web3, one thing that I love that is very interesting is the fact that basically the competition and the competitor relation is kind of very different from the Web2 world. Absolutely. So the fact that we have, that we basically the assets and we have this backbone represented by the blockchain, the Web3 space, and the NFTs allows collaboration between projects. Now, so just to give you examples, we are partners with the Central and the Sandbox that I would say that they are the big incumbents in the space. And for example, work also on our platform. So content that is created in one metaverse can work in another metaverse. So there is this idea of the interoperability that basically goes beyond competition thing. So if you build something important in a platform, actually the whole ecosystem will actually benefit for that. And again, also in that direction, we have a partnership, for example, with Central, and we did together with them 3 months ago the Metaverse Festival. And now we are also going to do together the Metaverse Fashion Week. So they will be covering the occlusive part of that, and we will cover the in real life activation for the Metaverse and for the Fashion Week. So I think this is one of the things that I really love about the Metaverse, the Web3 version of the Metaverse. The fact that, yes, of course, everybody tries to do the best for this platform, but we also collaborating all together.
Absolutely, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Very well said, in fact. But in the last 1 year, there has been a sort of shift in terms of how a lot of mainstream audiences are viewing this space. So did you also face the backlash of that as a community? And if so, what were those? And do you think that the mainstream idea about this particular wave that is coming, the Web3 wave, is sort of skewed?
I think that we can, like when I think about over and about the Metaverse in general, we can separate this in two main components when we talk about Web3 Metaverse. So the part of that, so the blockchain part of that, and the Metaverse side of that. Yeah. So, of course, both of the waves, let's say, had a downturn. So, of course, we was in the bear market. Now, maybe we are not anymore. We're starting going back. But, I mean, it's clear that from the token side and so on, the last year was not the best. And also, of course, regarding the Metaverse, there is a kind of disillusion at the moment. For example, if you take Meta stocks, the former Google, I mean, they lost a lot and so on. Yet, I'm in crypto space since 2014, 2017. And so this is not my first bear market. So, what I think is that, of course, there will be up and downs, but I mean, if something is logical, something makes sense, that thing will happen. We'll go through waves of like peak of excitement and disillusion. But if you keep your vision straight and you keep building, it will happen eventually. So again, when we started the company was 2018, and was like at the beginning of the bear market. And I remember going around trying to raise funds, and nobody really cared about us and say, why are you investing with your time in blockchain? It's dead and so on. And we keep doing that. And then 2020 came, and the market picked up again, and we was in the right moment. Absolutely. And basically we exploded. So I think that we need to take this approach and this mentality. And yet, I would say that a difference between the last bear market, the one in 2018, now, I mean, we are out there in the market, and we are seeing that, of course, like the token price, the sales of the lands went down, but there are some parts of the Metaverse that are not, didn't see any flexion, like, for example, for the creators. The number of people that are creating and publishing on over didn't have any flexion that was connected to the Web3, I mean, let's say the blockchain bear market and so on. So I guess that in some way, projects that are working on the metaverse have a kind of advantage because they are not only token or not only fully connected to what's happening in the crypto market, but they also have another I mean, value proposition that, of course, is combined, but as a kind of independent path.
Yeah. That was, in fact, going to be my second question after this, that when you joined the space and when you started to build your company initially in 2018, from then to now, what all changes, key changes have you seen in how people perceive about this space, or just in general, how the space has grown, so to say?
Well, yeah, you know, crypto is moving so fast that like when we talk about 2018, it looks like 20 years ago. And yeah, I mean, I would say that definitely since 2018, you know, back then there was still a doubt on the fact that crypto, I don't know, Bitcoin or Ethereum was going to be the next year and the year after. And now, I mean, like this kind of doubt, maybe this whole blockchain field will just disappear and so on, is kind of been a little bit washed away. There's still some people that thinks about that, but really, people is go away. And also there are some concepts that has been picked up by the broader public that before was not. Like, for example, NFTs. So NFTs were created in 2017. And I remember that 2018 and 19, basically they had like a bad name because the only successful use case was CryptoKitties. And when CryptoKitties went viral, basically clogged the Ethereum network. So, and after that, nobody talked about NFTs for like 3 years. Then 2020 came and explosion of the use cases for art. Then there was the use case for the metaverse and PFPs and so on. So all of these projects went up and down. Concepts now are in the collective consciousness. And people know that this is a tool, a very powerful tool for representing unique digital assets. And so it's like, I mean, little by little, we permeate with the society and with the things that people know that these things exist, know that these things can have value and so on. So I would say that we are in a much better situation than the one we were in 2017. Still, of course, we are, I would say, kind of at the bottom, hopefully, of the bear market. So it's still similar to what happened in 2018. But of adoption and perception, and also about brands that make the first steps, the metaverse and in crypto and so on, we are much more well positioned if compared to, I mean, the early days.
Yeah, agreed. Also, there are still quite a few myths around this market. A lot of people believe in a lot of hearsay, so to say. So are there any 3 or 2 common myths that you have commonly faced from, let's say, conversing with people outside of this space? So are there any myths that you would like to bust for our viewers?
Sorry, I could not hear you. Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. The question was that there are quite a few myths about the space and what the space does, what's happening in the Web3 crypto blockchain space. So are there any common myths that you've come across and would like to bust for our viewers today?
Well, yeah, there's really many, but so of course, one of the ones that is more connected to, I mean, I would say, the crypto sphere is like that crypto is for criminals and for laundering money. And this is very, very, I mean, uneducated idea because I mean, crypto means that we have everybody, we onboard a user every time. I mean, we need to move funds from crypto to the banking system is really kind of overwhelming. So really, if you want to launder money, I guess that, I mean, crypto is the worst way ever to do that. It's better if you use just cash to do this, because also, you know, the traces of what you do will stay forever in the blockchain. So you would never do something illegal where you leave a permanent trait replicated in many methods. So it doesn't. So this is one of the misconceptions that I see around. And another misconception that, but basically maybe it's not anymore, but like 1 year ago, people really believed that people thought that they could just drop an NFT and become millionaires. So yes, I can sell an NFT and go to the moon and whatever. And maybe at the beginning, I don't know, in 2021, I don't know, January, February, maybe that could be kind of the case if it was fast enough. But right now, publishing, but also not only right now, even 6 months ago or 1 year ago, being successful with the NFT project is not easy at all.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's actually the more complex thing in the world, and the same goes for launching a token. I remember back in the day when we launched the token. I mean, we had a project behind us. We have been building that for. I mean, we had solid foundation, but still, it was very difficult and challenging moment. So there's nothing so easy in the crypto space. There's no quick money grab. Very, very difficult to become. It's much more easy to lose money than to earn money in the crypto space. And also for a project that is launching something, it's not so easy to actually go out there, being known and so on. So yeah, there is this kind of misconception that people come in the crypto and say, yes, I'm going to do something and easily I'm going to become a millionaire. It's not. I mean, it's a very challenging space.
So you mentioned earlier that before moving to Web3, you were in the fashion space. And there are quite a few sectors that have merged really well with Web3 and the Metaverse. Music and fashion are some of the sectors that I feel have had a great emergence with this space. So are you still doing something which sort of, leads you to the collaboration of Web3 and fashion?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's something that I really believe. Especially when we talk about the metaverse in general. So the more we will have, let's say, avatar physical presence in the metaverse, the more important will be the way we appear out there. Because if you think about that, fashion is not really about buying expensive clothes. Yes, maybe also about that, but mostly is about social signaling. It's about defining who you are. So the way you wear is this kind of expression. So as we care a lot about our appearance in the current social media, like we really care about people think about us in or prefer social media. There's people that is renting luxury cars just to be nice on social media and so on. The more we spend time, I mean, with an avatar, the more important will be the way the avatar will look. And so I'm sure that, I mean, brands in the future will have an eye also to the metaverse part. So we are just seeing the beginning of that. I was talking about that for a long time, but right now I'm starting seeing this happening. And I mean, part of the Metaverse Fashion Week also because of that, because we really believe in this. But I think this will be a very big trend. And the other big trend, of course, one that you mentioned about music. So there is like, we can think about that in two options. So on the part of the performances. So all know about the numbers that Fortnite was to generate with their artists. Millions of, like 18 millions of people for Travis concert. When the physical maximum, they bring together 1 point something, like Coachella before COVID was 1.3 million, or Woodstock in 69, 1 million. So 18 times more people together to attend. No? So the potential to onboard people and to share with them an experience is so big for the metaverse. But on the other side, also for the representation of music itself. Again, NFTs, I guess, have something to say over there. I'm not so sure yet what will be the final the final way that the music will come into the metaverse, because of it come to the Web3 space. Because of course, if we think about using NFTs, for example, for representing music tracks, and that it's a very tricky situation, because they could become securities, and there's complexities. I mean, with the low part of that. Yet there's still some very big potential. We don't have the rights of the music as NFTs, because, for example, a fan of a band, you could also be eager to just collect some memorabilia, some digital memorabilia that are represented by NFTs. So maybe that is the path forward. So it's not clear yet what will be, but I'm sure that NFTs will have a big role over there, especially as soon as this concept keeps permeating into society.
Absolutely. So the space is growing at an intense pace, that is for sure. But there are still quite a bit of evils, or let's say every technology has its own pros and cons. So what do you think are the certain cons that blockchain technology or Web3 have, and they still need to be worked on by builders?
Well, I guess that one of the big things is that, Web3 and blockchains in general give you direct ownership of stuff. I mean, can be both tokens and also digital assets. And this disintermediated ownership also comes with a responsibility. So, I mean, it's very difficult to steal my bank account, but it's much more easy to steal my MetaMask wallet. And so there is we are like, I lose the password for my email. I just go to Google phone number or whatever. If I lost my keys, lost forever. No, so I mean, there's two sides of that. There is one side that is education, and so people need to start understanding how they need to manage their private keys and so on. And on the other side, there should be definitely work on the direction from the developers to create like good social recovery, better user interfaces that help to onboard people. Because, to us that we are in this space, everything is very easy. And we say why people don't understand why this work. But actually, if I think about me back when I started interacting with that, everything was very scary, very complex. And so, I mean, we need to work direction. So we need in a way to educate people, and the other to make the platforms more user-friendly, and to onboard people and to limit the risk that they incur when they come in the blockchain. So what I always say that, when people ask me how to reach us and so on, I say, please go in the website and just check the official links, because like we are in the far west, and everybody wants to keep you out there. No, I mean, we have nearly 1 million users, and we have in our history, we saw many of them that have been scammed and so on. Maybe they downloaded the fake version of MetaMask, all the funds that are gone. So we witnessed two scams. When we go out with on Facebook, for example, there is a scam that come out with the same name. Now, really a continued fight and of risk in this space for a newcomer. So until we don't solve these security issues, it will be difficult to scale to the whole population. But at the end of the day, that this responsibility also of having full control of your assets is also, of course, it comes with responsibilities, but also it comes with empowerment. The fact that you really own stuff and you are not intermediated by some gatekeeper that just lock you out. So that's
that has a lot of power, I'm sure, to users. And like you said, I couldn't agree more. Education is the key to step out of all of these ills that might trap one or trap new users in this space. So on that note, Diego, I would like to wrap this interview up. Do you have any final thoughts? Anything you want to say to our users about the space or about yourself? The stage is yours.
Well, I mean, I think that one suggestion that I can maybe give to people that maybe is new in the space is that I think don't be scared about the space. I mean, it's complex, but with some time, I mean, just being passionate and testing things will allow you to understand it very easily. So at the end of the day, interacting with the blockchain is not much more difficult than interacting with your bank account. It's just different. And also thinking about over, I guess that the best way to understand what is over is just to test it. So download the app, see what we can do. And then if it's something that you like, just go deeper and deeper and maybe get in our marketplace and so on. Small steps. Don't just dig in everything because your friend told you that you can become millionaire, because it's not like that. That's, I mean, still space is plenty of opportunities, but I mean, need to be taken step by step. So again, please just check what is out there, and also every time that you see a project that you like, dig into it. Not just, I mean, because somebody told me, but go on the website, go on the social media, try to speak with the people from the company. Today, the interesting thing, you know, if we think about like Web2 companies and so on, it's not so easy to get in contact directly. It's, I mean, the managing part of the company and so on, while in crypto, usually we're very open. So it's very easy to go in contact with the founders and so on. Also on our Telegram, you can find me there sometimes, not always, of course, because it's kind of overwhelming. But I mean, like there's the marketing team, there's really the people, the coders that are working are out there, and you can speak directly with them sometimes. So the nice thing is really that you can get to know the people that's behind the projects over there. And so just dig into the projects and try to really understand what you are investing in, or what you are putting your passion on.
Absolutely. And the communities here are so well knit that it's never an issue getting through or navigating the space, if only you talk and do your proper research. So great chat, Diego. And I'm really happy that you could join us. Probably we can set up another interview, a longer interview. We can delve into what Over the Reality does. And until then, I will request my audiences to go check out Diego and Over the Reality, and keep following Voice of Crypto to witness more such important and crucial, of course, fun talks with our guests. Thank you again, Diego. It was great to see you today.
Thank you very much. It was a big pleasure. Thank you.